The games are about to begin. You're watching Butler Esports.
Hello and welcome back once again to the Butler R6 Invitational. We've had a beautiful day here in Indianapolis and we've got another game for you. We just are coming hot off of UMBC versus Vespa, a very close 7-5, ultimately UMBC taking it out on top. My name is Yali, joined yet again by Smoke, and we've got an exciting matchup for you here today.
Yeah, I mean, we got Purdue versus LVC. I mean, I was watching this LVC team earlier in a matchup in club against Cal State. And one of the things I will point out, while they are -9 on the day so far and Purdue is +15, I get it. On paper, you think Purdue should win. Something I will point out, however, that I love about LVC is they trust each other so much and their communication is so good. They are probably one of the most disciplined teams, I think, on this invitational in terms of just being able to take a step back, reset mentally and physically, and just be able to, in the middle of a round, hit that reset and immediately just go take rounds in their favor. One of the other things that I will say as well that I love out of LVC is the fact that they kind of just all stay quiet. They let the comms go through clearly. They don't have cluttered comms, as far as I was able to tell. And yeah, hopefully, they bring some of that out today.
Yeah, really good teamwork etiquette is
Yes,
a good way for me
100%. Yeah.
LVC. Last time I casted LVC, it was in a grand finals for a collegiate league. It was some time ago. I don't remember what it was, but everyone, analysts, casters, the teams, they were like, yeah, it's going to be a quick 3-0. LVC, we're going to lose. And I don't remember what their in-game name is. I know their face. I don't remember their in-game name. They ended up dropping 51 and they won 3-0. So LVC is on paper maybe not the best team, but they are absolutely a menace in the right hands. Now, as for bans, we've got Ying, Monty, Azami, and Valkyrie. Fairly standard, especially as we go on to border. You're going to want to get that Ying off the board.
Right. I mean, immediately the most important ban to me is obviously the Ying, but if we're going to go on the defensive side, that Valkyrie, there's some absolutely disgusting spots that you cannot find on the side of the attack. And obviously just the map of border itself, it almost feels like it's tailored towards Valkyrie. I mean, it did release literally when she came out.
No,
so,
that's definitely release operators that are good for the maps they just released.
I will say Valk is an absolute monster when left unchecked, and there's some absolutely incredible cam spots that, again, LVC or Purdue in general might not know about each other. So I don't blame Purdue for banning out the Valk. They just are going to probably trust that their gunplay in general will win them those engagements. They want to just limit the amount of utility that LVC will have in general when it comes to knowledge and aggression. And I think they've targeted both of those perfectly with the ban on the Valkyrie and the ban on the Ying.
Yeah, however, I will say there are still a lot of opportunities for aggression on the attack.
Absolutely, yes.
Especially in this case, we've got the Grim, and if you look all the way at the bottom right corner of your screen, Deimos. That's going to be a character that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on, because this map, being as small as it is, it's still pretty easy to get caught out by a character like Deimos, who's able to see you through walls under certain circumstances. However, with this very solid and structured defense by Purdue, nothing so far.
It's good trigger discipline from Mr. Davis, but should he maybe have taken that ground? I don't really think so. The cross is being watched by the Goyo, so a really good job of just staying composed. Mr. Davis now has that intel and can let Emporium know exactly where this Fenrir is playing. And what a great first pick that would be. Please show the head. No, not just quite. The shot missed out. The reaction time not good enough. Slightly off the mark. And wow, that could have been an extremely good early entry.
LVC knows that most of the firefights on this map occur outside of the building to inside of the building.
Yes.
It's up to Purdue to make a mistake here or for LVC to find something, but there's the first one. Natural finds one, but it's immediately traded out as SPAP or SPAP Dog. Actually manages to find one entrance, goes through, and this has got to have support behind it, or Purdue is going to shut it down exactly as you see Cape and Wrath both finding one of their own.
Right, I mean, it was simple. Just a little bit too much ground taken there by LVC, and a couple other players pay for it. Now, what I will say is with that pick, it now lowers it to only a one-man advantage on the side of Purdue. And with a minute 10 soon, or a minute 15 soon to be remaining on the clock, there it is, you still have time, especially with the Ace and the Thatcher on board. They can still create an avenue of attack here. However, they have a lot to deal with. There are multiple layers of this defense to still peel back. The Mira on Fountain is definitely going to be a good one to start with, but again, it is going to have to be LVC who need to make the first advancement. Purdue are no scrubs in this game. They will be able to sit back. They are very disciplined. They will be able to sit back, let the attack come to them, and that's exactly what you need to be doing if you're in this situation here.
Now, there is a solid amount of utility in the hands of LVC. Still one drone as well as a lot of primary utility. Those Thatcher grenades being used to hopefully maybe give a little bit of an advantage on that firefight on the main stairs. 1-2 by SPAP. And it's all up to Cape, who finally shuts it down. Maroon in the 1v1. He's got to find his way into sight somehow, and he's got to do it in a way that potentially is a little bit less predictable.
Right, I mean, 15 seconds left on the clock. The impact goes out from the Goyo, and that's going to create a little bit of a sight line. Now the wallbang coming through, but no, not quite. Making his way through Arcaves. The Ace is definitely going for the kill. Does the Goyo know he's pushed up far enough? No, the swing comes through. The dance around the small office. And the Goyo on the side of Purdue will be the one ending up victorious.
LVC truly so close to that. And a lot of that comes off of, like you mentioned, this is a patient team. They're willing to sit back and understand the situation. They got that one drone in, and while it did ultimately get shot, they were well aware of the player both on main and the player in Fountain. Finding both of those, I mean, just incredible work. And while that did ultimately get traded out, that puts you in a 1v1. Suddenly a winnable situation. Didn't happen in this case, but still, just the fact that it could have happened probably never should have happened, especially on a map like Border.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. I think that, again, I do think LVC played that attacking round as good as they probably possibly could have imagined when you were in that 2v3 scenario. I mean, you do need the hero play to come through. It ends up happening, and man, they were so close in that dance of death, just pixels away from being able to hit their shots and claim that first round off of Purdue. And I mean, if that's any inkling of anything that we're going to continue to see here, this one's going to be a close matchup through and through.
LVC is going to be pushing into... Sorry, was that Customs or was that Vents?
They're in bathroom tellers right now. I'll let you take a seat and have your hold your head in your hands. But yeah, no, they're in bathroom tellers. And the lineup for LVC is going to be composed of the Blitz, Nomad, Ace, Grim, and Lion. So, again, they're going to possibly sync up this Lion skin with a couple of Grim Koana Hive launchers, and that'll probably be the thing that starts to really get that Blitz into the gap. So, again, it seems like they're really going for a big-time execute. Whether they want to wait on it or make it happen early, that will be up to LVC to decide. But they definitely have the operators centered around the Blitz to help him take some gaps in this defense.
I think particularly on Border, all of those operators are going to be used primarily on this first layer. Building an execute into that and being able to push through out the backside is really important, because the backside has so much potential to push back into your map control as you're taking it as an attacker.
I really want to see just how exactly they're going to be able to deal with the Vigil. I mean, if left unchecked, this Vigil inside of Wrath could really make some damaging plays here. And I believe I did see the one player going up top to try to deal with it. Plexios able to play behind the Blitz, has the comm, knows exactly where Not is hiding. Going to be able to take it down. And the Blitz is actually just getting a plant off. There's no denial coming through. There's no plant denial coming through. This one's just going to stick. Absolutely insane right now from LVC. Plexios with a second, and wow, Mr. Davison Emporium, Purdue falling by the wayside. It's complete LVC domination. Swing around, quick cape. There's not much he can do. Got to deal with the Blitz, who, if anything, is just going to keep his shield up and give clear comms on the side of LVC. They know exactly where this last Purdue defender is playing now. The Blitz is just going to try to troll around, try to see if he can make a play happen, but no! Quick cape cuts down the Blitz, but with only 15 seconds left and 3 to go through, it's not going to happen on the side of Purdue. LVC play an impressive attacking round.
That was truly clinical. They knew exactly what map control they needed, and they took a surgeon's scalpel, cut out that map control, and said, all right, we're good. All they did was put a player in Passport, they put a player at Top East, they put a player in Sight, they put a player in Waiting, and I believe the last player was also in top east or something along those lines for the.
Yeah, they
or-
were just trying to play vertical on the plant. I mean,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was absolutely brilliant. There's not really much words you can use to describe it. It simply was the fact that LVC wasted no time. That is probably one of the most efficient siege rounds I think I've seen today, and it probably will be one of the most
Yeah.
efficient siege rounds we see for this whole tournament, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that was truly impressive. And Purdue as well, the fact that they've got no idea Plant is going down. It didn't even cross their mind that
Yeah.
could be happening. And then once Plant goes down, they all rush back to try and be like, whoa, hang on, Plant's down, what's going on? They all rush back to try and do it. And LVC has every single way back to the site completely cut off. And there is no shot for Purdue to get back. Easy round for LVC. Perhaps a round standing on the shoulders of the giants who have built these strategies. Possibly them. Probably them.
Well, again, I like that now there's a little bit of a lineup featured around denial of, execution. We got the Goyo, we got the Fenrir, we got the Smoke. This would have been probably pretty good to run last round. We'll see if that changes up anything. Again, it is a very similar lineup with LVC. They're going to bring the Ace. It's actually going to be exactly the same as last round. They bring the Ace, they bring the Nomad, the Blitz, the Grim, and the Lion. So again, going to be interesting to see if they try anything different here, if they go for the same sort of setup, the same sort of style of play. But furthermore, we will see as this clock starts winding down. Opening pick. Let's see if Purdue over Peaks gives them one, or if they're just going to stay disciplined and wait for this execute to go down, wait for that Blitz to take a gap and give him no knowledge whatsoever, hopefully finding a crossfire onto him.
LVC is going to play a very similar round to what they played last time because, after all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But Purdue is reacting the exact way that they need to. LVC, before, was allowed to walk around the map and do whatever they wanted to. Purdue said, no, we're not going to do that this time. Pushing your castle up east stairs slows them down so much. Having a player all the way up in office slows them down so much. At this point, LVC was already putting the plant down in the last round. So this is already a massive improvement over the previous.
Right, I mean, the Blitz taken down to 15 health is what really matters here, but Plexios is going to be able to take down Not with the pistol. Again, Castle, so at least those barricades are already set up, but still a very weird sense of engagement on the side of Purdue. They give up the pick. There's no trade to come through because obviously no one's going to push a Blitz 1v2 style, and you just have to kind of forcefully take it and just sit back and say, yep, that happened. What next? What can we do after? You just have to kind of accept the fact that that happened. And on the side of Purdue, I believe they are aware on the side of LVC of this player sitting behind the bomb chassis. Nade goes out. Is it going to make them move into the Goyo fire? Yes, it will. The Smoke taken down to 50. And a great job so far. Again, LVC can just chuck this nade again and again, make that Smoke reposition, and hopefully try to catch him on the reposition back to the wall. But no, that is not going to be the case, as the Smoke does get away for the time being. The line scan going down. Ground can be taken right now, and LVC have done it time and time again. Well, the round isn't successful yet, and this planter should probably be killed. No! What a gap there from Natural! How did you pull that one off?
There's absolutely no way he's allowed to just stay there, but the trade comes out. Mr. Davis kills Yellow, and it's all up to Natural, still playing in that corner. You can't just sit there. LVC knows where you are. Shots through the wall, clean him up. I really thought that was going to be a Purdue round. Genuinely, because they had two secret weapons.
Yep, they did. But, I mean, for the time being at least, the Fenrir made an absolutely incredible play. I don't know. The line was definitely busy on the player sitting in Passport. But, I mean, the fact that that isn't droned out, or the Fenrir should not be able to just be able to sit there.
Yeah.
And take advantage. I mean, I'm almost speechless because plays like that in this level don't usually happen. Like, that shouldn't be allowed to happen. That's something that, like, you would see in, like, someone's silver rank game. Is some dude allowed to just sit in a corner like that, fully surrounded by soft wall, footholes literally exposing his position, a Lion looking, well, if he just turned around looking straight at him, and a planter right in front of that player on a soft surface, just putting down bomb. And yet somehow LVC still win that round.
Yeah, truly a complete juxtaposition to the prior round. All right, anyway, next one. Back up at the top floor, Armory and Archives. Truly very similar hold to what we saw during the very first round, as Purdue doesn't really need to change it up that much, but this time we're going to have those feet holes looking into Archives so that in those last moments that we saw last time, it's not going to be nearly as easy for the Ace to push up. at least a very direct comparison to the previous round. Whether or not we're going to end up in that situation, another question, but it's still a good adaptation given they know now how Lebanon Valley College likes to play this attack.
Right, and as we get underway, again, the Legion now dropping into customs, and this Legion, if left unchecked, could be very dangerous to these Purdue players. Or, sorry, these LVC players. Could lurk maybe around East Stairs, maybe find a couple picks when these Purdue players maybe, when these LVC players maybe drop onto that East Balk. So, you never know. Again, it's going to be something that you want to keep track of if you're on the side of us, the casters. You're going to want to make note of it. So, right now, he's definitely the one to watch.
Still a 5v5 with a full minute off the board, and a player more than likely going to be isolated in server. Fires, shots ring out, but there's no isolation as Yellow, playing in Passport, manages to clean up the buck below. And that is a massive pick. You are no longer going to have any vertical pressure, but what you are going to have is the plant going down?
I don't understand how this is happening. And again, you have, well, what I thought was 2 nitros on the board. Gumine's in pocket. The Glass can take complete advantage of the smoke, but somehow LVC are still finding picks. It's going to be Plexios on the Glass as well. And now Quick Cape, the Legion, able to shut down and find a triple. The impact player that I pointed out earlier in the round has just gone absolutely nuclear. Mr. Davis with one of his own. The counter defuse going down. Davis swings in, and Wrath perfectly times, gets off the diffuser, finds the pick, and finds Purdue the tie.
Truly, over and over again, these rounds could not possibly be closer. The big thing from that round that I would like to point out is they just walked in again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep.
This time there was no Fenrir sitting in the corner.
I mean, it didn't also this time it didn't work.
Yeah, it's true. This time it didn't work. There was a retake response, and even though there was all that smoke there, Nitro Cells didn't work out. I mean, truly, so much of that feels like they just saw the buck downstairs and they're like, okay, I don't know what that's about. And they were like, all right, let's go down, try and fight them. They get that kill. They dedicated 2 players to it. In the meanwhile, while they're trying to get that kill, suddenly Plant is going down. And they've got truly no idea because they're so focused elsewhere on the map, and they think Lebanon Valley College is going to play it in a completely different way.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to talk about there. Everything looked great for LVC. Bar and Quick Cape just getting a triple out of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe, if I am
out.
right, it was a jump out, right? So again, I said if left unchecked, that Legion can make a big play at the end of the day. Now, it wasn't the big play I was thinking of, to start out, but nevertheless, Quick Cape, and invertedly proves me right as he ends up going unchecked, finds the run out on 3. I mean, plays like that, absolutely ridiculous, but if you needed a hero play, Purdue, you've got one right there.
Yeah, truly just a little bit of tunnel vision from Lebanon Valley College, as
Yes.
well as Purdue. Both of these teams so far exhibiting a weakness to that tendency. And in the case of LVC, that comes from just not watching that jump out through the sandwich window. Now, pushing into this next site, this is going to be Vents and Workshop. And very quickly, Purdue is going to make sure that they know that they are on the top floor. Lebanon Valley College is aware, and that means that Lebanon Valley College might want to push into that. And so that's why they've got the pulse downstairs in customs. That being said, LVC has no interest in going there. They've done this 4 rounds in a row now. Bring a blitz, get as close to the site as possible, and walk in. And Purdue, so far, seems none the wiser.
I mean, so far today, we've seen a lot of blitz because Montaigne's usually banned out for pretty much every game. So, I'm really just kind of confused. I mean, if you're watching these VODs, watching other teams' matchups, you would think this blitz pick is so obvious for other people. Trades going back and forth, and it's going to be a 3v3 all of a sudden. And Plant goes down yet again. There's no denial coming out on this Plant. Pulse has a Nitro, can't find anything because playing too far off of it. Wrath will finally be able to use it, and that will be the blitz gone. But with the Plant down, the attackers just have to pick a position, burn time, and try to play for the counter defuse.
2 players left, 1 player on the top floor. Plexios finds his 3rd on the round after completely clearing that top floor practically on his own or through trades. And now it's all up to the... Oh, way he hits that! A hip fire, 180, finally finds that gridlock on the outside, and it's all up to Pulse, the final player. But Plexios is plenty patient. This is truly an LVC round.
He's so composed, and Plexios just knows he has to wait about 2 more seconds, and it doesn't even matter if he re-swings and dies there. There's not enough time for the counter defuse to happen after the pulse hops off of it. I will say it was very cheeky of the pulse to quickly just tap the diffuser to signal the buzzes. 3 is usually the sign that you want to go. 3 usually means go, so on that format. So great job from Plexios to realize, nope, that's not what's going on right now. Whether they had a drone in sight that was relaying him that information, or their Plexios was just making the call that, no, I'm actually going to think that he's not doing this because of the fact that there's time here to burn still. It's a great job from Plexios. Stays composed is really the word that I was looking for there. Finds his team around. I mean, be so honest, Plexios has been the Kickstarter, not the Kickstarter, but the finisher, the confirmer for all of these LVC rounds so far. And we were talking about this before the game started, how I think that LVC is kind of a dark horse in this tournament based off of what I was seeing, the leadership from Plexios, how these guys play together. They're always so trusting of each other, and they play off of each other really, really well. They don't split up like we've seen other teams before. They are the epitome of stick together and you will win. And so far, they've upset Purdue through these first 5 rounds.
Yeah, every single player in this lobby has had a strong impact on these rounds. I mean, even Maroon, who currently is 0-5,
Got
has
4 plants.
planted 4 times.
4 times. Has 4 plants.
Times, and that truly speaks to how much you trust your team, as well as the fact that you've got your hard support, the last alive, following up all the entries who are dead at this point, but enable the hard support to find those clutch plays. That is exactly what you're looking for in your hard support, your entry. Everyone on LVC right now playing their role to a T.
There's no other way you can really talk about it. And this is perfect right here. LVC, they're not wasting any time. They're going to go for an execute soon, and that's why all of them are on their cams right now. They're just trying to gather any intel they can before they really start committing to anything massive. But right now, I don't know if they're aware of this castle on the side of Knot, who slipped his way up east stairs. He is just a barricade break away from potentially finding, if timed well enough, 2 or 3 on the side of LVC. Definitely a person who we're going to have to check in with later in this round as it goes on. But first off, let's talk about Plexios, who absolutely takes the head off of Yellow with that boss cheat.
Plexios leading the lobby right now, playing the Dokkaebi at this moment. And also, as we mentioned, hard support. Blitz does go down early on, though, and so that plant not going down could potentially be their win con. But here goes the trades. Natural and Plexios each finding one of their own. And now in a 3v3, there's so much pressure on this Archives position. Or rather, there's so much pressure from this Archives position. One down, looking for a second.
No!
Find it. A trade is possible? No. A player coming up the main stairs finds the other player in Archives. And now, it's all up to Mr. Davis.
Right, I mean, if Plexios just controls that SMG-12 recoil just a tiny bit better. I know it's the hardest gun to control in the game, and honestly, the control was pretty good. But just not able to find the head of the Fenrir, that could have been an absolutely ridiculous play from Plexios, but sometimes one man can't do it all. And this round, Plexios just simply couldn't bind yet another hero play together.
This is honestly, in my opinion, beautiful Siege. We are seeing over and over again 2 teams completely read each other perfectly, and then we get to what the heart of the skill behind this game is, which, when it comes down to it, we are watching a first-person shooter right now, which means you've got to shoot good. And yes, there are a lot of these micro plays. You've got a player coming up main stairs. You've got a player looking up ceiling holes through bathroom, right? To stop the blitz from being able to get in. And so we've got all these different little tiny pieces coming into play, but at the same time, exact same thing is happening on the side from LVC. Players coming in through top east to clear out the castle. Player coming in through, I believe there was also a player through 90 to go to that double door.
Yes.
And then the player going in fountain to kill the Oryx coming up the hatch. Almost kill the Oryx coming up the hatch. So there's all of this little tiny back and forth, just finding these exact perfect timings. And at the end of the day, once you have that, it comes down to who is able to capitalize on their tactics better than the other team.
Absolutely. As we get into this next round, we're actually going to see a very similar lineup in terms of play style from Purdue on the attack as LVC were running. They're running the Ashe, they're running that line in tandem with the Ace and the Blitz, and this time the Brava, which I really do like, considering there's a ton of Malusi gadgets. proximity alarms, cameras obviously, and Fenrir F-Nauts to take down. Not going to be able to pick up the first though, as that's the Warden off the board, someone who hard counters that blitz, and that's going to be a tough loss for LVC, as this blitz might be able to just run rampant without any fear of the Warden on the board.
I truly feel like Mr. Davis is so alone right now, and I know he's got a player in break and the other side of break with him. But if someone goes through top east or jumps through this balcony window, that's going to be huge. But they don't even look at him. Mr. Davis finds a free one onto yellow, and he's got to rotate to get out covered by another castle barricade. This strategy is incredible, and Mr. Davis finds another gap, manages to cement himself in there, finds a second onto Wrath, and now suddenly LVC has a huge advantage, and Mr. Davis has a path paved back into the site for him.
Well, I'm really watching Plexios right now, who's kind of just sneaking up east stairs. Do they know about his position? Probably not. However, it is going to be now the Fenrir who's going to activate some of those F-Nauts. It is going to turn out that Natural did have that one picked out, so Plexios will go down. 11-5 so far, though. He's having a great game. But so far, Mr. Davis has been the guy with the plan, the man with the plan, and he has really turned up big for LVC with a man advantage in a round that wasn't looking too good at the start, at least, for LVC. I will say, it's turned around pretty well.
Blitz being on the board could be the defining factor here, but LVC having so many sight lines open right now makes it so hard for you to play the shield operator who only has a shield in front of him. If he wants to get any sort of an aggressive play, he's going to be severely exposing himself to the players on LVC who are currently appropriately positioned. The only player who might be out of position just a little bit here is Maroon, currently 0-6, but I would argue right now he's playing a perfect bait because they cannot push him without walking straight into Mr. Davis' line of sight. They kill Mr. Davis though, and now Maroon is left all out on an island with a blitz running up to him. This is an absolute nightmare situation on the ground, loses his life. It's all up to Mute, finds one, and manages to get himself into a safer position, but he's way off of sight as a 1-speed, and he's got a blitz on the other team. Only one shot though.
Right, I mean, one shot, and you got the Mossberg as well to deal with that. You can just play around. If anything, I think the Blitz is actually at the disadvantage here, and I would expect, barring me caster cursing him, SPAP to be able to, pull this one out. With 7 seconds left, they're going to have comms on him all the way. It is going to be the gadgets that are going to alert the position. They do know about the Blitz's whereabouts, and the Blitz does not end up having diffuser, I believe, or if it was cold, wasn't able to pick it up. I want to see that back. If the Blitz did have the diffuser, maybe you're just going to look for the kill instead, because New is dead to rights.
I truly think that Mute they had no idea where Mute was.
No.
Yeah, just no clue.
No.
And they're just like, hey, let's just play out the time. You're in a 1v1 and it's a blitz, so you get close to him, that's dangerous. And they probably didn't know how low he was either. So it truly is just, let's just get out of there. Let's not risk anything. And they're not going to be able to put the plant down like you are able to get up the main stairs. He pushes up the main stairs in case the plant does go down, but still able to play a little bit of ring around the Rosie. Just right, secures the round. Excellent way to start off your defending half for Lebanon Valley College.
Right, I mean, so far, it's like you've said, we've seen a tale of two teams who are just reading each other perfectly. And while I will say the last two rounds have not definitely been perfect reads, they've come down to very close gunfights to define rounds in total, I will say that for the most part, they're getting the immediate take right. Like, they're reading the takes right now. It's just what happens after that is where both teams right now, I feel, are having trouble with.
No, I think as well, something to mention, like the strategy, the overall ideas behind the round is very good, but the tactics, the little plays that they're making are incredible. I mean, losing Mr. Davis, and then you know that Fenrir's in that bait spot to die, so Mute then swings out to replace his position. Perfect play. I mean, you couldn't get any better than that, and that all comes from all of your players having a good understanding of the tactics behind Siege.
Absolutely. And now, going into the 6th round, it's going to be Mr. Davis, who's actually on 95 health, assuming from, I believe, making rotations probably with that Rema dash.
Bonk.
So, yeah, there you go, right? It's going to be Mr. Davis who has to play a little bit of a safe round, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, regardless if you're at 110 or 95 health, yes, that 15 health could come back to bite you later, but as of right now, you're still considered almost a full health 3-speed operator. So, again, Mr. Davis, not too much to worry about there, but on the side of Purdue, never mind on the side of both sides, they're going to have to worry about some picks going down. The Buck being lost out on the side of Purdue, and the Ash is only on 31 health as well. Definitely one shot to most weapons. They're going to lose SPAP, though. Plexios able to find a pick, but he immediately gets traded back out there from yellow. And so far, it has just been punch, counter punch.
I want to talk a little bit about these castle barricades because they limit the movement of the attackers so much. And yet at this point, they've managed to find themselves into sight because LVC is the one off of sight, having themselves limited. So all it comes down to is just a few 1v1s. LVC, while they had a very nice setup that I like a lot, instead of funneling the attackers into them, it ended up preventing them from getting aggressive.
Right, I mean, honestly, I don't really know how else I can explain it. You just said everything perfectly there. I mean, 4-4, so damn close. You almost can't really predict. You cannot predict anything on what you are going to see, no matter what setup or anything. Because these two teams, like we've said before, are breaking each other down so well. And yet it always comes down to scrappy fights. This is the first round in a little while last round where it honestly looked like Purdue maintained control from start to finish. And I think soon, it's kind of hard. Like, if you were a coach right now, I'm starting to think, with it being 9 rounds through, no one really with clear advantage, where would you honestly call, like, attack timeout? Or if you are to do it, would you even at some point in this game? I don't think you would unless you see a major mistake. Because
truthfully,
both teams right now are just playing off of each other so well.
Yeah, truthfully, I believe that LVC right now is in the zone. If I'm a coach,
you let him go with that.
I'm just letting them go with that. Dude, getting all 5 of your players just absolutely locked in like this is such a rare occurrence. And so seeing this kind of brings a tear to my eye, honestly. And it's happening on both teams, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, the reason I asked you is just because I know you have a passion for coaching, and I was just kind of thinking, like, this is a really difficult situation. This is one of the rare ones where 9 rounds through, I don't think any team's thinking about calling anything. You just kind of let them cook. So, for now, we'll see what happens. 2:28 on the clock, round starts to tick down, and I will say, someone who we haven't seen yet today, at least for me at all in any of the games I've casted, the Maestro on the side of Mr. Davis.
5v5, first pick going out for Plexios. Beautiful shot with the SMG-12. That's going to deny the entrance into the top floor a little bit longer, but Natural finds SPAP elsewhere on the map. That means that there is a little bit more map control being succeeded by LVC. Now, this top floor still hasn't become weak to a Purdue push, but they've decided to give it up in any case. Brava takes a lot of damage. Wrath finds 1, easily traded, as both of those players are getting out of there. That's got to be set up, or else, like, truly just beautiful play right there.
No, absolutely. I mean, again, it's just all been punch counter punch right now. Yellow on 9 health, and right now it's just going to be the defensive LVC who can just kind of wait this one out. They want the attack to now just kind of flow towards them as we kind of see a little bit of a plateau so far in pace of play. But I think this is also what Purdue need. They need to reset. The drop in the hatch, though, they're going to go opt to just absolutely throw that out of the water. It's going to be Natural to find the pick on Mr. Davis. And now with the Maestro gone, none of the cameras can be controlled truly to be putting out lasers. Not able to find the pick as well in the Emporium. And all of a sudden, Purdue, their pacing has been absolutely brilliant. Maroon dancing around the half wall. Can he find the Grim? Yes, he can. But so much to do with this 2v1 in a post-plant scenario.
That's Maroon's first pick. But he's got an opportunity to make the absolute impact play of his life. A 4v4 right now with only 30 seconds left until the defuse happens, and Maroon has got to start finding something. Drops the hatch, and he finds nothing but a handful of bullets to the chest. If I'm a coach, this is where I'm calling a timeout.
And there it is. You actually predicted it absolutely perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah.
So there you go. LVC, they
Great minds.
see that they have gaps obviously in their defense as they've given up 2 straight rounds to Purdue on the attack. Again, on border, notably a defensive map, but so far this game, it's kind of been not that at all. It's just been a straight 50-50. Now that we finally see Purdue sort of take a little bit of an advantage in momentum, LVC able to just sit back and say, okay, nope, this is it. Let's announce a little bit of a change coming through. And I think what I really loved out of Purdue there was the pacing. Yes, the trades were a little bit shambolic at times and hectic, but what I will say, what I liked about them is they were able to reset, drone out, realize, hey, where's this gap that we can take right now? No one's watching the hatch drop. We can just put a guy down metal and take a hatch drop, stack up 2 on that side, and just take a gap, get a plant down. So it was a great job of just stopping, resetting, refocusing, realizing the gap that they had on the side of Purdue, and they took it effortlessly.
Yeah, and I think Lebanon Valley College has realized that as well. This is a team that is clearly very well prepared on this map specifically. I mean, when I say that was set up, I mean one player dropping the hatch and one player walking down main stairs. That was like, they thought about doing that 3 months ago, and they've been doing it over and over again. And truly beautiful play. And I mean, I'm not saying that like I know that, but that's the way it looks just with how perfectly executed it is. And there's all these little things like that when Lebanon Valley College is a little bit out of position, it shows, and Purdue is able to take advantage of those gaps. And so the coach coming in at that specific moment being like, hey, there's something that I don't like here, and just giving them, truly in this case, just strategic advice, which is the best kind of tag time out if you're a coach.
Well, I mean, I think the difference that you got to really take a look at here is Maroon's performance. Now, yes, it is fine to go 0-6, I suppose, if you have 4+ plants on the attacking side. But now going 1-3 on the defense, you slow it down a little bit, and maybe this lack of gunfights and winning gunfights especially has taken a little bit of control, possibly in the mental, for Lebanon Valley College. They're kind of playing with 4 guns up right now. So, again, maybe that reset is exactly what Maroon needs, and I think, if anything, the coach is kind of thinking that if he can get Maroon online here, every single one of these other players on Lebanon Valley College have been making an impact and so far in these rounds. Mr. Davis, however, won't be doing any of that. He's going to get shot down.
Opening pick by Purdue doesn't bode well for Lebanon Valley as they lose another Plexios off the board, and that's going to be their operator with the most performance so far. Now in a 5v3, and Purdue is really looking to just poke and prod, try and get Lebanon Valley College to do something, but they're not doing anything.
Well, you know what this really reminded me of was the first game that we casted, that I casted with Akron, right, on border. They've done the exact same thing right now on the side of Purdue. They've waited for Lebanon Valley College to just give them free picks from outside, over peak, take the space, and right now, they have absolutely all the map control they need to go for almost any take they want. I mean, they could literally split up and go all around the map just to kind of bait out certain areas to make defenders look in order to expose them to angles from other people. And again, here it is. There's that gap take. It's going to be a team kill, but it doesn't really matter because it's a 4v1 nevertheless. Plant should be going down any second now, and it's going to be all on SPAP to try to get the take onto the start of this clutch. So it is going to be around the fountain wall, but again, with 2 players sitting already there to counter that out, the Brava sitting close, and the Lion, who I don't know how didn't hear the movement of the mute earlier, but nevertheless found the pick. They're going to be able to shut down the potential 1v4 clutch, and at the same time take what I believe is so far the most dominant round that we've seen all game.
That was really weird.
It was a complete switch up.
Complete switch up. It looked, and this is entirely from a spectator perspective, it just looked like Lebanon Valley College stopped calling plays.
Yes.
It looked like they were just like, oh, well, we went down. We're just going to sit behind our shields and our power positions and call it good. That's not going to cut it on board. You've got to get liquid. You've got to get active, especially against a team like Purdue, who, if you are in power positions, they're going to isolate you. And we see that beautifully done. 4-1.
Right. I mean, for a game that's kind of seemed so close, Purdue really started to kind of take the horse by the reins here, and 6-4 on match point. Purdue's got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. Again, to touch on what I was saying, that round just screamed Akron versus Columbia College. It was our first map of the day, at least on stream. That was absolutely reminiscent of that. It was almost like a clear carbon copy. And again, it was the same thing. The gap through archives got taken the exact same way almost. Well, it wasn't through the balcony, it was through the window. It's the same result. Off of the fact that they were just waiting for Lebanon Valley to overpeak on certain angles, give themselves free picks. It was almost like they were kind of selling bodies. I know it's tough to focus on the negatives there, but if you're in Lebanon Valley College, that can't just be something that you're okay with doing.
Yeah, I mean, to see this going from such a close match to suddenly just like a round out of the blue, immediately following a tactical timeout.
Yeah.
That just completely fell apart in front of them. Literally the single most dominant round of the entire match. Something's not right.
Maybe you wonder if the tac timeout actually kind of burned Lebanon Valley College a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, I get it. You know, as a coach, you see the momentum finally starting to swing a little bit in Purdue's favor, but whatever was said in that tack timeout clearly did not resonate or hit as hard, whether it was a miscoms that were coming out. But hey, you know what? There's a reason why I'm not a coach in R6, and it's because of the fact that I can't predict what's going to happen, and I can't read defenses as well as the Lebanon Valley coach, or offensive takes as they can. And right now, they have a man advantage. Great job so far. The plant is going down, however. Will there be any denial of this? No. 3v3 situation, quick cape, able to get on the board. Mr. Davis slices the head off of Raph. This dance quickly between Spapdog happening around Passport. He's going to have to try to find the two players in bathroom. Finds one, but doesn't over the reswing. Dancing in and out of the doorway. Close situation. Super shorty in hand. Sees the feet. Goes up close. Finds the kill. And LVC get back on the board.
Oh my gosh, so close there. That ping coming out and being like, wait, where is he? No, truly, so very close. But I think this is the difference between Lebanon Valley College and Purdue is what we saw right there.
Yeah.
If Lebanon Valley College gets the plant down in that situation, they're going to be in positions that are just completely indisputable.
Yes.
We saw that on, I believe it was all the way back in round 2, where they brought the blitz, they planted, and there was no retake potential. In this case, Lebanon Valley College had retake potential, and it was because Purdue, while they were in okay positions, they were still spread apart, unable to trade, and extremely predictable as well. Not to mention Lebanon Valley College, I don't know what they had exactly, but they had a lot of information on that bathroom plant.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that Lebanon Valley College, they played that, I mean, just so well, just able to just completely rebound after, and again, coach just proves me wrong. Lebanon Valley College proves me wrong. We've just seen 2 times now rounds just completely flip on their heads. Lebanon Valley College, they've done a great job getting back into it. They forced max regulation, and here we go. They're still up against the ropes though. Will Lebanon Valley College be calling this one bye-bye, all done after max regulation, or will they push it to overtime? Your answer comes shortly in 2 minutes and 50 seconds starting now.
Purdue is not a force to be trifled with. We've talked a lot about Lebanon Valley College, but that's because they are the underdogs going into this. Purdue is the team that we expected this level of play from. Seeing them live up to this, great, fantastic. Glad that they're playing well. Glad that they have excellent tactical ability. Seeing Lebanon Valley College come in and do the exact same thing is not something that we necessarily expected going into this. Now, we are at an advantage for Purdue. A lot of that coming off of potentially just a few firefights, just maybe kind of a couple plays not working out in the favor of LVC. But they do have a chance here to push us to overtime.
And again, with 2 minutes and 7 seconds now on the board, clock slowly goes down. Does Natural have any idea about this castle playing in break room? That's going to be the question for me. If this hasn't been droned out, there it is. The castle being found up, and a great shot from Mr. Davis out onto the ace of all players. That's the hard reach down. Plexios as well, taking Quick Cape out of the equation. A great start so far for Lebanon Valley College.
Why is your heart breach entering?
That's a great question.
Why is your heart breach entering? You lose your heart breach, and now suddenly you are in kind of a nightmare position, especially with Frost here playing on the Canadian wall. They have no ability to get him out of there. And now Ash with a goo mine in his foot. Easy swing. Frost doesn't quite find it, but the second coming through. That's going to be easy enough for Lebanon Valley College to secure their advantage. And Plexios as well with another Pokeball. We're now in a 2v4. And Purdue is not close enough to start making plays. Lebanon Valley College, though, should close this out. There you go. Mr. Davis with 1, and it's all up to naught.
Right, I mean, this is almost a nigh impossible situation. The run out comes through. It's going to just flash across the screen, and underneath, it's going to be SPAP who's going to find the finisher. We have overtime for the first time tonight, for me at least. Timeout requested for Purdue. They've got to switch things up because Lebanon Valley College are playing rounds as if they've all been just shot out of a cannon.
That's such a great way to put that. They've been shot out of a cannon. And I mean, Purdue as well is just... They're playing well. Don't get me wrong. This is the level of siege that we want to be looking at coming into this caliber of event. This is truly remarkable. And Purdue to be taking a tactical timeout here, completely a logical decision. What do they need to change though? It's kind of hard to say when you've got two teams playing at this level. You have to have a high knowledge of Siege. But for Purdue, I mean,
I think if I had to put in, I think if I had to put in an answer for that, looking at the fact that you're on the defensive side of Purdue, you have to just simply regroup and do what you were doing to get ahead anyway.
mm-hmm.
You need to simply play close together and not split up. You are seeing multiple times. We are seeing multi-kills come out on the side of LVC that just aren't going retraded. It's been happening for 2 rounds now. They've given up multi-kills to LVC that aren't having any bite back. Because of that, it's just simple picks like that. They're simply selling bodies, much like LVC was doing a little bit earlier before the tac timeout was called.
Mm-hmm. I think though here, especially as you mentioned, they're moving back to defense. What they're talking about is how are we gonna deal with the blitz going into this? You know,
Absolutely.
What exactly we're gonna do? Like, we're gonna reset mentally, but also there's gonna be some strategic conversation here.
I mean, the blitz is gonna get switched out actually, which is not what I was expecting. But I guess because of the fact that, you have the Mira, you have multiple C4s online, you have the Goyo, you have the Legion, you have the Malusi. There's so many potential counters to the blitz. I think through the drone phase, LVC realized they don't want to take that risk anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to play predictably. Simple as. If you keep bringing a blitz, they're going to keep expecting a blitz, and look at that, They've brought all of that ability to counter that, and I promise what they're not expecting is a hard breach. LVC has, I don't think, brought a single hard breach almost this entire match. They've relied entirely on their gun skill and their playmaking abilities, so now to switch it up and bring a hard breach, this is something that LVC hasn't played since the very first round, and probably the last thing that Purdue is expecting.
Right, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. It's definitely a switch up for sure. They are now aware on the side of LVC about the position of the Malusi, but Natural with a 1-tap, at least it sounded like Quick Cape with another, and oh my god, LVC are crumbling around security.
And I think this is what that tactical timeout is talking about.
Yes.
This is playing your power positions. You're not in them, like, tucked away, but what you are doing is talking to your team, talking about how, when they push me, can I stop this? Can I have my friends stop this? And Natural just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop.
I mean, that was literally a 180 from what we just saw 2 rounds prior. One of the most impactful timeouts, I gotta say, so far in this tournament, easily, especially when we talk about the stakes of it now. Purdue finds themselves right back into the mix of things, and on overtime match point to boot.
LVC now has the opportunity to fire right back. LVC moving on to defense, which is, we went 3-3 on both sides, so it's hard to say whether or not that's a favorable place to be in, but they have that opportunity to fire back. Previously, what they've been doing to fire back, a lot of it is getting back into the zone, getting back into that playmaking ability, getting a little bit loose, but understanding that if they need to make a play, they're going to play into us, right? Funnel them into a specific position so that you can build your crossfires. That's what LVC is doing. Purdue has been trying to disrupt that, but if LVC finds the opening pick here, I don't think Purdue is going to be able to disrupt that.
I mean, we're seeing with the lineup on the board, Purdue are going to take this opportunity to realize there's not very much here that counters this blitz pick that we can bring out here. So here we go. It seems like Purdue, they're going to try to end this one right here, and potentially in quick fashion, the blitz being brought out. While they don't have the diffuser, it also means that the blitz is probably going to play entry to immediately play extremely aggressive, and instead of looking for a plant, they're probably going to look to just create space so that the ace can just simply waltz on in.
Castle last time did give himself a very good way to fall back, and whether or not that's going to be the same this time is a different question. However, that castle barricade on the window is going to slow them down quite a lot. What they want to do is put the blitz in through this window, push them out onto the balcony between Armory, and then find the pick onto the dock there. That being said, there is quite a lot of support, but despite that, right, they've still got Castle watching over there. They've still got head holes here in Armory Wall. So actually going for this play is going to be extremely risky, and a lot of this is going to come down to gunfights.
Right, I mean, and if that's the case, you can't really predict how it's going to go. So many times we've seen so many close shaves. The Warden now down to 38 health. And again, Natural, just being able to find that. The Dockstim will be in use, though. I forgot about that. That Plexios can simply just, boop, heal his teammate back up. So, no harm, no foul play there, as the Warden will be able to just sit back at max health. Plexios will be able to make sure that Wrath is the farthest thing from max health, as Wrath is now simply off the board. And now Mr. Davis as well with a pick of his own. Trades going back and forth. Yellow back onto SPAP Dog. And now, with the last couple of players remaining on the side of Purdue's attack, it's going to get very hectic very quickly. Mr. Davis, they haven't been able to clear him off of security and break. And right now, he's making Purdue pay with every shot that rings out of that UMP.
Mr. Davis truly has so much support from his team, from those two positions I mentioned, break, as well as the head holes and armory. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to clear him out here, especially now that you're in a 2v4. You're going to end up being funneled into these really nasty crossfires that are going to be nearly impossible to defeat. Not completely impossible, though, especially now that you've still got a Selma in your hand. So opening up things like this Canadian wall that's being opened right now, or rather, I believe that's a top east wall that's being opened up right now. Opening up all those little pieces. You still got 2 lion scans on your side. The active utility is definitely favoring Purdue right now.
Right, I mean, LVC knows exactly how they're going to play this. Just sit back, play together. They're so good at just, believing in each other in these situations. They know they don't have to get aggressive. They don't have to force a play to be made. They can just sit back and cover each other's crosses. They trust each other so much. With 15 seconds left on the board, it's what you have to do if you're LVC. So here we go. As it comes through, Plexios with 1, Plexios with 2. Plexios have a day. And Plexios puts LVC on overtime match point for everybody.
7-7 going all the way. As LVC shows that they absolutely can fight back. Now Purdue, just 2 rounds ago, had a phenomenal defensive round. Was that due to Lebanon Valley changing up their pace and going something that maybe they're less comfortable with? Or is that Purdue being able to push something hard? Because if we look at this now, Lebanon Valley is bringing their comfortable lineup. They've got that blitz. They've got a plan in mind. I mean, they do. They've done so much prep on this map.
Right.
You can just see it in the way they play. Does Purdue have an answer?
I think I'm going to be very honest here. If Purdue has an answer, it's going to have to come off the back of a hero play from somebody, whether it's Natural or Quick Cape so far this game. Has really been the way that they've been able to shut down Lebanon Valley College. But we've seen such good attacks out of this stack on LVC. I'm going to be honest. I really think that as long as they stick with their bread and butter, this very well might go LVC's way. And they might pull the upset to Purdue that I was already talking with Whiskey Run about when we were in here. He honestly said, that's bold. And I said, yes, it is. But so far from what I've seen from the day, yes, they might be -9 on the day. But from what I've seen from Lebanon Valley College, I've really liked the product of. And so far, they've really just turned that into fruition as right now, it's anyone's game. But honestly, I'm going to start with a bold prediction here. Give me LVC on this last round. Let's see how it turns out with 2:30 left.
I think it's going to come down to whoever finds this opening pick, which is honestly so imminent at this point in the round. And the thing is, I wish I was recording this and knew this exactly, but I'm pretty sure every single opening pick has led to a victory. I'm pretty sure the conversion rate on this match is...
Is it really 100%?
I think it's around 90%. It's so very close. So the fact of the matter is, whoever finds this opening pick, both of these teams are well skilled enough to be able to capitalize on that.
Yes.
So that is going to be a hugely determinant factor of who wins this match.
Well, there's nothing much we can really do other than sit and watch. The Blitz now making his way down east stairs. He's going to have to worry about, I believe, the Capcan, who's playing near that waiting area in the main lobby now, is going to be probably the first point of contact. But they're just doing the same thing. 4 players playing off site. If the Blitz realizes there's no bite back here on this B wall that they've gone for time and time again, LVC might be able to just play this yet again for, I believe, what would be like the 5th time this game. So again, cover your crosses, make sure the blitz is all good from vertical control. Mr. Davis is going to be able to find that first pick. And if your stats serve you right, LVC should be cruising to victory soon. But nevertheless, it's Siege, and we still got a minute 20 left to play. Let's see what LVC can cook up. Next is probably going to have to be the player in Passport they're going to have to deal with. Those Selmas going down on that B wall, though, is going to be key for that blitz to walk in and hopefully get a plant down if you're an LVC fan.
LVC saw that wall being open and said, I'm not comfortable with that. We've got to find
Here it
something.
is!
And here's another one. Plant going down. A 3v4 is Natural finds Plexios. Not necessarily the player you want to lose, but Natural is completely off of the site. He has no opportunity to push. Do they know where he is? They don't know where he is. He finds another. And now we find ourselves in a 3v3 post plant.
And now all pressure going on to Purdue. However, with 3v3 now, they can try to make plays. Mr. Davis, though, a double on the round. He has one on Quick Cape. The Nomad, no, never mind. Sorry, I almost said the Nomad air job being hit. But no, Nat, what are you doing? 2 headshots, 16 seconds. He needs to drop on the side of LEC. Wait, no, he can play disciplined here. There's time left. The P comes through. No! Mr. Davis plays the round perfectly. Wins LVC the game versus Purdue. They pull the upset in dramatic fashion.
What an absolutely monstrous match we've just been able to cast, Smoke. LVC pulling that upset off from just back to back to back clinical rounds. And while that isn't perfect for them from them, truly up against a team like Purdue, wow.
If memory serves me right, Plexios was sitting on 19 kills before the round even started. That last round there didn't even have to come off the back of Plexios finding picks, which means that I love how much Plexios there can sit, be confident in his teammates that they are going to find the picks that matter. And that, to me, really does show what I was saying earlier. These guys trust each other so much. Their team play is so clean. We've seen it time and time again. They just go back to their bread and butter. It's almost the same exact take every time on this bathroom site. And it works almost 100%. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. LVC pull off the upset. And I gotta say, you know what? Maybe I'm just too good at this because I actually predicted that earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking to Whiskey Run earlier.
I can't say that I'm surprised, but in any case, congratulations. That was truly an awesome match.
That was so stressful.
Oh,
no, talk to me. First thing that I noticed while I was watching you guys, I come from a coaching background.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking at you guys first 10 rounds, these guys are in the zone. You know, that's exactly what I was thinking. These guys know exactly what they're doing. They're comfortable. Timeout happens. You didn't really necessarily have the best round after that. What did you talk to us about that a little bit?
So yeah, I think we kind of struggled with the first couple of rounds on every kind of our games, but with land, we just kind of take that extra step, kind of really locked in. With the timeout, we had some ideas. We knew we just needed a breath, honestly. And yeah, it didn't really work out with us with a round win, but it was still necessary. It still helped us reset for coming rounds. So I think it was short term, didn't really help, but the long term it definitely helped.
Nice. No, that is nice to hear. While that was the single most dominant round, was the round that you lost, it still is. I don't think that speaks to the game at all. If you looked at just that round, you'd be like, oh, why is this 8-7? But truly, you guys played phenomenal Siege. There was a moment that really stuck out to me. And just a simple thing, just a little play where one of the players, I don't remember who it was, dropped through the small box hatch in office, in armory. And then one of the players walked down the main stairs and there was a trade there. And it just looked rehearsed. How much practice do you have on this map, if you don't mind answering that?
So yeah, I'll answer that. We do scrim it a decent amount. I think the bigger thing with that, it's not necessarily, we've never done that specific play before. It's more of, we focus on building a team culture of trading, strats very heavy. Just because we play people that are quote unquote better shooting us. Wrath is very good. Earlier in the game, he absolutely smashed me. But so we know that strat heavy is more important for us, especially just in general. Yeah, the strats are a lot more heavy for us because it's a team game. We have a gunner in Plexios, and he can outshoot almost everyone. But again, if you can get the guys that are maybe lower on the leaderboard still getting the kills, getting the trades are the big thing. We play, like I said, we play a very big strat heavy game.
I was going to say, I was sitting back watching you guys play Cal State on Clubhouse, and immediately through there, I kind of got a great idea of what your team was about. You guys trust each other so well. Your communication is so clear. You guys almost never have cluttered comms. I really got to say I'm quite impressed. Yes, sometimes you do get outgunned by other teams. That is fair. But at the end of the day, guns are only one factor of Siege. Teamwork beats all. I mean, I got to say, I'm so impressed with you guys. And honestly, what do you have in store for the future? Do we expect more of this? Like these crazy blitz takes? Like, what's going on?
Don't even really know what to say to that. I mean, just kind of coming in, no expectations. We know we're probably one of the lower ranked teams here. I think we're ranked 12th. So we kind of don't have expectations of, oh, if we lose this game, like we are so messed up. Like, it's okay. We kind of just let it hang a little bit and kind of just go play our own game. Like we have nothing to lose, and they have everything to lose. Like they just lost the 12 seed. They have everything to lose against us. So that's really what it comes down to, of just being in the moment and just we have nothing to lose.
Right. I mean, something I also want to touch on your attacks and sometimes also the defense is just being able to that match. You were able to match Purdue's pacing in terms of how to pace your rounds out. One thing I noticed in a certain round was that you guys on the attack multiple times were just able to, after some chaotic trades go down, you guys just stop, breathe for a second, reset mentally, and keep on going with your take, which then ends up in gaps in the defense. Tell me, when you're taking those mental breaks, what are a couple things that are kind of going through your guys' minds mid-round, and how does that then proceed to help you guys throughout the rest of it?
So we kind of work with like a duo IGL system. Plexios does a majority of the like shot calling, and I'm more of the overall like team head sort. Not head, because Plexios is telling people where to go, but I'm more of I'm actually the pacing guy, if you want to put it that way.
Well,
so a lot of the times, like I'm sitting there, we have code words for like push, stop. So a lot of times, like I'll see that, okay, we have the main advantage, or we have what we need to take. Like rounds are take this, hit site. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm looking down the checklist of what we have. Okay, like here we should have this by like 110. It's 120. We have it fast. Let's slow down a little bit. Here we're a little bit slow. We need to go faster. Plexus does some of that too, but majority of that stuff is me. So yeah, I think me personally, I'm kind of seeing like, okay, we need to slow down. Like, okay, like we have what we need. We have a plan for the round, and I'm just kind of keeping us, where are we at in the plan of the round, and whether we're ahead or behind on that. So it's still like, we're still just playing our own game of like, okay, like they're doing this, but we still need to take this, and that. Where are we at that? Okay, we're too fast, etc.
Yeah. No, this is extremely high level thinking and preparation coming out from Lebanon Valley College. So truly kudos to them. Thank you so much for coming on. And honestly, thank you all for watching that. And I don't think I need to thank you. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
That was truly like
incredible.
In my opinion, best game of the night. But you know, but in any case, thank you all so much for coming through. That's gonna be it for Smoke and I for tonight, but we've still got more games coming, so don't go anywhere.
Thank you for watching. For more updates, follow the Butler Esports socials at Butler Esports.